Brandon Judd, the president of the National Border Patrol Council. That's the union, and he joins us now. Brandon, good to have you with us, sir.
Good to be with you. Hey, I apologize if there's a lot of wind in the background. I'm with the Trump advance team. I'm looking at what we're going to be doing tomorrow, so I do apologize if there's too much wind.
So do I understand that you will be with Donald Trump as he visits the border tomorrow and not Joe Biden?
I will. I will be giving President Trump a briefing on what he's going to see out here, how he can expand upon his insanely successful policies, what he did. And look, to answer your question, what is Biden going to see? He's going to see absolutely nothing. And just to give you an example, so that we're not using rhetoric, 3 days ago, Brownsville had 12 apprehensions. 2 days ago, Brownsville had 0 apprehensions. Yesterday, Brownsville had 22 apprehensions. President Trump is coming out to a place that had several hundred apprehensions every single day. It's crazy to think that he is going to go to the border to see a chaos that he created, but he's not going to see anything. He could have gone to San Diego. He could have gone to Tucson. He could have gone to El Paso. He could have come to Eagle Pass, and he would have been able to get a good idea of what is exactly going on. Instead, he's going to a very safe district, the district that voted for him overwhelmingly. And he's not going to see absolutely anything. And if you're not willing to come out and see what a problem looks like, you're never going to be willing to come up with the solutions.
So Trump is going to go to Eagle Pass, Texas, which is where I believe you are right now. Is that right?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Eagle Pass, and he's going specifically, as I understand it, to Shelby Park. That's the location where Greg Abbott and the state of Texas has actually assembled some border barriers, and it's the very same location where Joe Biden has ordered many of the Border Patrol agents that you know to cut through the razor wire there to allow more people to come into the country. So why wouldn't Joe Biden want to go and demonstrate what he's been doing for us at Shelby Park?
Because he knows that that's going to illustrate everything that he's been doing wrong. Wherever Joe Biden goes, the mainstream media is going to go. So the mainstream media is going to go out to Brownsville and say, hey, look, nothing to see here. There's nothing wrong here. Everybody says border crisis, yet look at Brownsville. Brownsville is a beautiful location. Brownsville has nothing going on, which, by the way, they're going to have some sort of fair, some sort of carnival that was already pre-scheduled. So, yeah, they're going to go out there and they're going to say, well, what's wrong with the border? Whereas if they would have come out here, they would have seen exactly what his policies have caused, exactly what's wrong with the border, and they would have had to have reported on it. So that's why he chose Brownsville.
So what do you make of this idea that Biden keeps on trying to make Republicans own the border crisis? He's now saying it's Republicans' fault that we have a border crisis and not mine.
He always blames others for his fault. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's the economy, he's going to blame somebody else. If it's foreign policy, he's going to blame somebody else. If it's the border, he's going to blame somebody else. He always does that. That's his MO. We can expect that in everything. But when you look at that, I mean, again, let's look at actual evidence. Let's look at proof. All Biden would have to do, he doesn't even have to use executive orders. All he would have to do is tell his DHS secretary to surge asylum officers to the border. He would have to tell his DOJ, tell the DOJ to surge immigration judges to the border. Once somebody crosses the border, immediately give them a credible fear interview. The moment they get that credible fear interview, if they fail and they appeal it, send it to a judge. If they pass it, send it to a judge immediately. Let that judge decide it immediately. We call it last in, first out. And if he would do that tomorrow, not even through executive order, just through what he can do right now, if he would do that, he would stop more than 70% of what we're seeing. And if you stop that, then you can deal with everything else.
Yes.
We've always dealt with illegal border crossings. We're always going to. The cartels are always going to cross. We can expect in a normal day, we can expect to see between 900 to 1,200 people every single day. But that's a normal day. Right now, we're dealing with 7,000 people every day.
Now, I do have to ask, Brandon Judd, being the head of the Border Patrol Union, you and I have not spoken since that big border bill that was considered in the United States Senate. And one of the talking points that the White House has been using is that, A, the Border Patrol Union was on their side, on the White House's side on that bill, and that would have led to a more secure border, and therefore Republicans are getting in the way because Donald Trump wants to use this as an election year cudgel. Now, from where I was sitting, Brandon, my impression of this bill is that it's a big amnesty package, that it's a bailout for sanctuary cities, that it's that it normalizes up to 5,000 people crossing into the United States a day, that it creates something called non-custodial detention, which is another way of saying releasing people into America. I wondered at this late date, do you still think that would have been a good idea, that legislation, as a union?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I do is I compare what we currently have with what is being proposed. And there were provisions in that bill that President Trump himself wanted, that the court system shut down.
Right.
Let's look at the HARP and PACER programs that were extremely successful. It raised the credible fear threshold to where now 80% of the people that claimed credible fear were failing, whereas right now 80% of the people that claim credible fear are passing. It allowed us to detain adults traveling without children, without releasing them into the United States. Again, that shuts down 70%. There was an awful lot good in this bill. What we wanted to see it voted on to go to the floor. If you don't support a bill, you don't get it to go to the floor to where you can make amendments to the bill. Now, let's be clear. Biden had nothing to do with this bill. Absolutely nothing. I know Senator Sinema extremely well. I know Senator Langford extremely well. Biden had nothing to do with this bill. It was very, very shrewd individuals that recognized that there are key provisions that if we would have gotten, it would have tied the hands of a bad president and enhanced a good president. Now, I have to address this whole 5,000.
Yeah.
I realize that that's a talking point that a lot of people are using. I'm not saying that you're using that, but I know that I've heard it many, many, many times. The fact of the matter is that 5,000, what that is it is a trigger for emergency action, which we do not have in our current laws. We normalized 12,000 apprehensions in the month of December. That's a lot higher than 5,000.
Right.
But with all of the other provisions, we would never even get to 5,000 apprehensions. Go ahead.
No, I take your word. I completely understand what you're saying. But so 5,000 a day would have been the trigger point that would have added new authorities to lock things down even further. I understand that. But if I go back to Jay Johnson, who was the DHS secretary under Obama, he said 1,000 a day was a crisis. So when Americans hear that 5,000 or 4,000 is the trigger point to crack down on this, it's almost like it's a joke. I mean, at least from our perspective, because we're looking at a country that's overrun now with illegal immigrants under Biden, and he already has these authorities to lock things down.
I absolutely couldn't agree with you more. But what I'm looking at is a trigger that we don't currently have. So again, in the month of December, 12,000. In the month of January, 6,500. In the month of February, it's going to be close to 7,000. Next month, as we continue to see the trends go up. So whereas there is no absolute trigger in our current law, this would have actually given us a trigger. I would have loved to see the number go way down. There's been a letter that I sent to Congress saying that number needs to go down exponentially to 1,000, but you can't get to that point unless you vote for the bill to send it to the floor for amendments. That's why we supported it. Remember what we said from the get-go. This is not the perfect bill. There's a lot of wrong in this bill. Fix that through the amendment process, but you can't get there if you don't support it.
Yeah, well, you'll be standing next to a guy who did oppose it yesterday, but I know in the end your goal is to secure this border. I don't doubt your intention there, and I'm very grateful as always, Brandon, for you joining us today to talk about that. Best of luck tomorrow as you engage in trying to get the ship right in America. We've got a real problem, and you're right at the front lines. Thank you, sir.
Really appreciate it.